I totally missed this news, but Call of Duty responded a couple of days ago. Actually, this was like a week or two ago now, and I didn't believe it when people were saying it. But breaking, Black Ops 7 will have open matchmaking at launch and non-disband lobbies for multiplayer, but they also mention aim assist, which is the craziest. That's the
Just tagged
craziest one
you.
to me.
My handle in Discord is muerte_karmasi.
Andrew, thank you, man. All right, I'll take a look at that after this. But let's read what COD is attempting to pull interest back with here. Matchmaking update. We know the big question on everyone's mind coming out of the beta is how is matchmaking going to work for Black Ops 7? During the beta, they had normal skill-based matchmaking. Thank you guys for the hype train as well. But they also had open playlist for it, where it was at least significantly reduced. They said skill-based matchmaking. If you're not familiar with this, you've been playing Battlefield, you don't know what the heck's going on, what the drama is. Skill-based matchmaking essentially puts you into games with people that are of a similar skill level. You're not playing ranked, but you're still in gold tier lobbies. It's not an average distribution of players. This theoretically should give everybody a more level playing field when they're actually playing, but of course it turns into massive sweats, and I think realistically, it is a good thing. As much as people hate it, I do think this is good, especially for all the super casual average players that are especially new to a game. You kind of want to protect them, otherwise they get slammed constantly, and you can never really have much of an experience. I think this is a big problem with COD in general. This is one of the reasons you always need tons of new players always coming in on a game. If you kind of like a pyramid there, so that way you can have some rate of progression for everybody else, and you don't always feel mega slammed, especially in small 6v6s. Nonetheless, it does affect a lot of the players, even at the top of the. There's a certain level when you get to the top of the bracket too, where it's like people are just so good that they actually are better than at least 99% of the players. And even if you put them in the highest tier lobby, they're still going to beat everybody because they are just like at some point you do get to the top of the ladder. But nonetheless, at launch, open matchmaking with minimal skill consideration will be the default for Black Ops 7 multiplayer, which is kind of crazy. This has been the last, 5 or 6 years that's they've had this in the game, and I'm pretty sure they said it's not even a thing. In fact, they even said that there's a 50-50 win ratio between mouse and keyboard and controller, which is crazy that they said that. But nonetheless, I feel like part of that is because you put them into skill-based lobbies, and they probably put half the lobby as PC as well. Anyways, simply put, imagine the matchmaking experience of open mosh pit for the beta, but with the standard Black Ops 7 on day one. Our team feels strongly about providing players with a more varied experience, and the beta proved to be a great opportunity to test the approach. We'll be sharing more details as we get closer to the launch. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. We'll see. I think the reason that they kept it is because it worked really good for player retention. I think it helped with their player retention and probably for those newer players, just protecting them all the time. But it's the same thing with casuals. That's what they said, even for casual lobbies for Warzone. The reason that they stuck with that is because it's literally 3 times the player count in casuals versus normal, and nobody plays solos anyways. It's like the lowest population mode. Of course, I said if it's 0 times 3, it's still 0 if nobody plays it. So, anyways, I imagine this is... so my experience with this, just one final note, I did feel like playing the open lobbies, I got a more average deviation of players where I was more likely to hit a top 3, but I would say I'm also above average. So if you put me in with just a completely random player base, there's still a lot of really good players. I think the just general player in Call of Duty is extremely good now. They know how to slide. They know the movement. They've literally been playing ranked, and the only people that are left playing the game pretty much know what they're doing. So there was nobody running around like you see even like the new players in Battlefield right now. Clearly, there are new people that are playing Battlefield. There's no doubt about it. I don't know how many new people are going on to COD at this point, especially with this game. They're calling it a new game. I don't really consider it a new game. I think they're on kind of a multi-year cycle. They used to do new games every year with like Black Ops into Modern Warfare. That was a very different shift between those game styles. But when they're doing the exact same game every year, Black Ops 6 and 7 or whatever, pretty much, but it's more of an expansion. And they said they were switching to this. If you guys remember a couple of years ago, they were like, we're going to switch to a 2-year cycle. And then they're like, surprise, we're dropping a new game. which was also, I think that was when Modern Warfare 3 came out from Modern Warfare 2, and people were like, "Why are you doing this? You said you were going to wait 2 years for a game." They are still they're on a 2-year cycle, but they're just releasing a new game in between and calling it a new game rather than DLC. That's kind of my take on it, my perspective on it in the reality, looking past some of the stuff on it. Anyways, they feel strongly about it. I'll be surprised, but I think one of the bigger reasons that the changes is just because the culture and the narrative of the game is very much the opposite, especially online. And so maybe they're just trying to listen to online and see if it makes a difference. I would be surprised because what they didn't say here is that, guys, we have numbers. The numbers have now changed. Before, the numbers showed that we had higher player retention by having skill-based matchmaking. That's why we stuck with it. Now we did the beta and the numbers changed. We had more retention in the open playlist. They didn't say that. They just said we're doing it and we feel strongly about it. So we don't know the exact reason. Maybe the reason is trying to see if they can shift the culture. But I think the bigger shift on the culture is the cheater aspect of it, where everybody just assumes everybody's cheating. Even if you're good at the game, it's actually a bad idea to be good because then everybody just calls you a cheater anyways. You know, like there's no cred from that like there used to be in general. Obviously, there still is a lot, but you know what I mean. Persistent lobbies, then. This is the other note. We've heard the community's discussion and dialogue around lobby disbanding. Again, this is more of discussion. This is not based on the statistics of the game. And they've been going very much purely on the statistics for a very long time. I mean, I think the main thing that they're going statistics-wise, obviously, is on the monetization. That's one of the reasons that even the reason that we get new content for Warzone is not new content gameplay-wise. It's new content for skins. Every event is typically a skin update, not a content update, because they have to release the fully packaged game. That's the multiplayer is getting a new campaign, zombies, maps, all that stuff. Warzone is getting, it actually is getting a new map, but then the Avalon update for Big Map guys are getting nothing. You're getting, well, I guess you're getting new weapons too, but that's a whole nother discussion. Anyways, we've heard that, as we mentioned earlier during the beta, we're focused on keeping players together from match to match more often. Today, we're excited to announce that we'll have persistent lobbies at launch for Black Ops 7. I think this is another good competitive point because, like, if you go and play Battlefield right now, that's what they have. The persistent lobbies, all of these are persistent lobbies that are going right now. You can join in and play persistent with all of these people all day if you want to, while still having the option for the other way. COD does not have that unless you go in a private match. But if you're in private match, you don't get any XP. If you're in private match in Battlefield, you do get XP. So you can still make progress and just place, do some vehicle superiority. Play vehicle only if you want to or whatever. So this could be maybe that's a good competitive point where COD's adapting to that as well now. We're committed to improving the experience for players. We'll share more details soon. But this was the biggest point for me. Obviously, I'm a mouse and keyboard player. Aim assist, the last thing we heard from them about aim assist was that it doesn't matter. 50-50 PC and controller guys, they're at a 50-50 win rate. So it's balanced. And that's why you see as well, that's why you see half of the CDL is on mouse and keyboard, right? It's the same reason you see 50% ratio of all of the pros at the World Series of Warzone that just happened. 50% of them were also on mouse and keyboard. Everybody knows that. We've also seen the discussion about rotational aim assist and the community questions about how aim assist will be tuned across inputs in Black Ops 7. It's a priority of ours to have our fair and competitive balance across all input devices at launch, and we'll be sharing more about those changes coming to aim assist and controller at launch too. And I don't even necessarily think they need to make the changes. Obviously, I've been playing Call of Duty for a very long time, and I come up with ways to counter aim assist. So that's why I'm super heavy with smokes. But even with that, they took away one of the smoke slots. So now you can only have one smoke in Warzone, which is a direct nerf to the only viable way that we can counter on mouse. But I usually just play Warzone as like an aim trainer. I use that as a chance to practice my movement and some of my aim and some of my tracking. It's a little bit more fun than playing a traditional aim trainer. And I would be shocked, and I don't necessarily even think they need to make the game more appealing for mouse and keyboard players, because I think, again, going back to the culture of the game, everybody thinks everybody's hacking anyways. You might as well keep it console controller focused and, keep that experience, because that's one of the reasons I think a lot of people even play that game. It's so easy to pick up. And the most interesting thing for me, especially about COD, is that it's not even about the shooting anymore. The shooting is so autopilot that most of the skill level, at least from what I see from the top end players, is the movement. Being able to not only like time your fights tactically, whatever, like that, that's an element to it, but most of it, I think, is the movement. Being able to control the slide canceling and controlling the control through fences and smoke and understanding when your aim assist is going to be off to stay on target for it. That definitely is a higher skill level element, but that's where I see most of it because people will hit crazy shots. Even the worst players, I die and I'll spectate and watch them play the game. They're really, really bad at the game. They have no sense of idea of what's even going on, but they'll still kill me in the game. But that's also like I think that's also the nature of Warzone and how they have built that game. It's a little different for ranked. They had some modes that were a little bit higher skill in the past, like the Iron Trials and stuff like that. But I would be very surprised if they actually do anything significant about this and try to pull mouse and keyboard players back. I know a lot of them have left the game, even on the pro side. There was only a couple pros that made it to the World Series of Warzone. Obviously, I was joking about 50% being pro. There's zero mouse and keyboard on CDL for like the competitive Call of Duty. And then there's only like, I don't know, 5 or 6 maybe mouse and key guys in World Series of Warzone. And I know like Husker's he quit. He's off the game. He said he's not playing professionally anymore, and it makes sense. And then there's a couple other guys that I know that switched off of mouse and key just because they wanted to play more competitively. And that's one of the like I said, I don't play competitively Call of Duty, and if I did, I would definitely switch. But I don't. I just like to aim train and practice for other games and stuff that I play too. So there it is. That was an update. I forgot to read that one. Hopefully catches us up a bit. What else did we have, guys? Biffle quit too. Yeah, but he's also already won 3 back-to-back. You know, I don't think I don't think he's moving on to a new game to play professionally, is he? Is Biffle going to play Battlefield competitively now?